today I want to share you with the world. My daddy, Jimmy Wayne Smith Sr., aka better known as Jim Deese All Cone, half white and three bone. Now, he was given that name by some man that my grandfather knew, and my daddy would go hunting and stuff with his grandfather, so my great grandfather, my daddy's grandfather. And so my daddy would kind of cook, he would cook around the house and stuff like that. So this man that I guess my grandfather knew, every time he'd see my daddy, he'd say, "Jim Deese, all cone, half white and three bone. When are you gonna make me one of them West Hill gravies?" So that was a little nickname that my daddy got, and he told us about it, and he would always make a little joke about it. So I thought I would throw that in there just to start us off in a good, happy, celebratory way. And when I come back, I will definitely keep it moving, keep it going, keep this energy up, because I know he would want me to be upbeat, have it, and smile. Keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Keep this energy up. So I'll be back. What's up, family? And welcome back to Yvette's View. And today is a day of celebration. I am here today to celebrate the Earth Day of my daddy. Actually, one of the Earth Days of my daddy. December 27th. He would have been 83 years old. But he also had another birthday according to the birth certificate, which was December 29th. So I plan to do a part 2 to this celebration, because we literally celebrated 2 birthdays while he was on here, while he was on this dimension, and he's going to get one in the metaverse or the YouTube verse. He gets 2 days, just like he did while he was here. He's gonna get it again today because I'm his baby girl. I said so, and that's how I want it to go down. So I hope you guys will come back and check out part 2. You'll want to hear all the other stuff that I have to say about him, because I'm only going to give you just a little bit right now to kind of wet your whistle about this great, wonderful man that I had the pleasure, the opportunity to be influenced by, and to have loved, and to have been able to take care of and during his last years here on this earth. Anyway, today, guys, I am here to celebrate the life of my daddy, the king of our castle, the captain of our ship, which is something that he would tell us on a regular basis if we, his children, acted like, we didn't really appreciate some of the stuff he was doing for us. And literally, he did everything for us, and we literally took most of that stuff for granted, as most children do, right? But as you got older, you saw, wow, this man did the damn thing. That's all I can tell you. I literally wrote down some notes so that I could stay on track, so I wouldn't go too far off, because literally I could start ad-libbing stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's get back on track. So I just want to stay focused on that and really just kind of give him the best day and tribute and honor on today that I want to share with you guys. So bear with me, and let's just keep it going. I want to make sure that I get this thing going great too for him, and it's just in his honor, and I'm so thankful for that. Anyway, my daddy was truly an alpha male. He had this energy about him that you just didn't play around that much with him. There was a time for that, mind you. Yeah, sure. However, when you met him, there was just this energy of respect that he was just given. And I know now that he must have respected himself enough that he gave respect to whom all he met, And it was reciprocated, because that's literally how the life that I witnessed him live was happening in my life when I would watch different people meet him and so forth and so on. So that's how that went down. But yes, he wasn't soft by no means, but he definitely was a compassion. He still had compassion and still had a compassionate heart. And especially when it came to his family, because I'll say this, my daddy was about his family first. He didn't believe in put anything above his nucleus. That meant religion and anything else. His family was first. Everything else is secondary. Let's keep it a buck. And he meant that. He stood on that. And when I tell you, whatever he stood on, whatever his principles were, he stood on those principles from the time I witnessed and understood. He stood on those until he left. That was just my daddy. You wasn't changing him. You wasn't changing that mindset, especially if it was something he knew. You couldn't come and change none of that. You'd say what you wanted, but he'd be like, okay, you go head on with that. But I know what I know. I'm gonna stand right here on mine and stay true to who he was on a regular basis. I have to give my daddy credit for that. That man he was unmovable. You weren't talking about some church, honey. That was somebody who was unmovable, always abounding. But like I said, he definitely was about his family first, and he wanted to make sure that my brothers and I were close, that we had a nucleus that was going to be tight-knit, that nothing could come in and separate or divide us, if you will. We were supposed to make sure that we had each other's backs at all times. And I will say that I know I was part of that. I kind of got that same energy from him, where I'm family first. And I never really like too many outsiders come in trying to disrupt or disturb or separate it. I'm the one that's gonna go in for it. So that's part of my daddy that's in me. Thank you, Daddy, for that. Love you and appreciate you for that. But he just wanted to make sure that was in place. He didn't like for us to argue and fight, but as kids, we're gonna argue and fight and pick at each other. And I'm gonna share a memory with you really quickly about a time when my middle brother, Gary, used to tease me. And that was just something he did on a regular, for whatever reason. He just loved teasing me. So, because he would make me cry, that made him happy, but it didn't make my daddy happy. So one day, my brother was teasing me about my nose, and my daddy was tired of the back and forth and the fact that I was crying. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna shut this down. I want all three of you to line up against that wall. So we had to line up against the wall in the kitchen. And he literally got the tape measure and measured each one of our noses, from the oldest to the youngest. And lo and behold, the noses ranged from ages from large to small. So from the oldest to the middle to the youngest, it was large, medium, and small. So when I realized that my nose was the smallest out of three, I was happy. My tears dried up. Daddy was happy because my tears dried up, and he didn't want his baby girl crying, and he just wasn't gonna mess with me like that. And he didn't want them doing it, and he damn sure didn't want nobody else or them to allow anybody else to do it to me either. So that was how he wanted our nucleus to kind of be that tight-knit, close. You don't let nobody come and mess with her. I'm his baby. He was something about that. He would let anybody know that's my baby right there. even though he had a lot of other people that wanted to adopt him, and they did. I had to share him. I got used to that, but I knew who I was to him, and he knew, who he was to me. So just a little brief history about Daddy, real quick. My dad was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, and graduated out of Dallas, I believe, and moved to California after he graduated. Not too long after he graduated. I think it might have been after the summer of his graduation. He decided to move to California and pursue his singing, because that's something that he likes to do, is singing. And today I still represent my daddy with this mic, where I keep him close, and we'll continue to keep that there. But yeah, came out to California, and was pursuing his music career, and got involved with a group called the Elgins. That was during the Doo-Wop Society, which was like in the 50s and 60s. Although it was 50s and 60s, I believe, with the Doo-Wop Society, and my daddy was the lead singer. And he was literally the last Elgin alive in 2021. He was the last one, the last survivor of that group. And somewhere along the way there, he ended up meeting my mother. But I just jumped ship, or I just jumped ahead of myself. So I'm gonna come back to parts of my mom there. But of course, once he got here, got in the group, he did meet my mom. But I just wanted to mention something quickly about the musical part of our family, that music seemed to run through the veins of our family on both sides, on my mom's side and my dad's side. And so I think as children, my daddy kind of watched us to see who was gonna like pick up that fire, that bug to want to take music to the professional level, to the next level, not just, want to do it around the house. Who wants to be professional? Who wants to be in the business? And it appeared that my brother Gary, the one that teased me all the time, wanted to take it to the next level, because once he fell in love with playing the piano, next thing you know, my mom was buying a piano, he's playing this music, his music teachers are giving him all kinds of stuff, he's acing everything, and music was just a part of our household. And just because, my daddy sang too, so when my brother played, my daddy was singing, so we'd always have some music kind of going off, one way or another. But again, since music was all in our genes here, my brother played, Gary played the piano, I sang, and my oldest brother, FB, played the drums. And I call him FB now because, which means firstborn, is how I refer to him, because in hindsight and in my memory, I just remembered that my daddy would always give his children nicknames. Hence the reason I'm calling my oldest brother FB right now. But I'm going to give a shout out to both my brothers right now, Jimmy and Gary. I love you both eternally, and I do hope that I'm making you guys proud of this. And I know you're going to watch it and you're going to tell me how I did, but again, love you guys eternally. I'm doing this because I love Daddy, and I know y'all do too, and he wanted me to do this, so I'm getting through it. I'm going through. Anyway, now back to Daddy. I shouted y'all out. Back to my daddy now. Just a quick another word to tell is that my daddy was very strong and extremely smart. And I don't know how lucky, I didn't realize how lucky I was to have the opportunity to be influenced by such a man who could take things that he bought that would maybe say it went out, it didn't work or didn't last long, and he could put it back together to where he could make it better than the manufacturer made it from the gate. Who knew? I wouldn't have known that, but until I had to see that firsthand from what my daddy would do, the things around the house. There was nothing. When I tell you there was nothing that man couldn't do, there was nothing he could not do. Just some brief examples. He got into roofing. He did plumbing. He worked on cars. He knew how to cook. He what else? He made a fan better than he made my stove that when I did hair, and we had to use stoves for our Marcel irons. He made my stove work better than it had ever worked from the time I had first purchased it. So when I tell you I've seen firsthand how he's made other people's clippers, he's fixed those and made them better than they were when they were bought. This man just could literally look at something and reconfigure it and make it better than how it originally came. Who? I don't know too many people who could do that. At least it wasn't my experience. I wasn't around them. All I was around was that man there. That man there, my daddy. I can't even express to you how influential what the things that he did stand out to me now. That I guess I will say I must have taken for granted, but I never have taken for granted his smile, because my daddy had the biggest smile, and he definitely loved smiling more when he was singing. You could see that he was in his element when he was on stage, and as he's giving his best to his audience, he's receiving, the appreciation. And side note on that, like I said, my daddy would tell me this too: whatever you get involved in, you don't get involved in nothing and be half-assing. Don't do nothing half-assed. That would be my daddy. That would be what my daddy would tell me. Because when I would cut his hair, he was like, no, when you line a person up, it's just like you have a clothing outfit. If you have a clothing outfit and you don't hem it, the shit's not finished. So why would you let that go out and you don't have everything nice and neat and, the way it should be? Don't do anything half-assed. Whatever you do, whatever you get involved in, make sure you're going to do it to the best of your ability, and don't do nothing half-assed. That's Jim D. Saul Cone from me to you guys. So real quick, I'm just going to give you, because I'm going to cut this down and went a little bit further than I wanted to, but I want you to check out this one song from me, please. The song that I liked called Street Sing. And you can find that under Soul Galore Memories. And just check that song out. That's my daddy singing the lead. And get ready for part 2. I'll be back with part 2 in a couple of days. And thank you for being here for this little short moment to celebrate this little portion of my daddy that I'm celebrating with you right now. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next day or next couple of days for the celebration where it continues. Peace.